Hello everyone, hold on, I forgot my rings. Take two. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Another week, another video. और इस वीडियो का आप सब बहुत बेताबी से इंतज़ार कर रहे थे probably. I mean that's what I saw in the comments. मेरे Instagram पे भी और मेरे YouTube पे भी. हो सकता है कि सिर्फ ये एक ही बंदा हो जो कि बार बार हर जगह कमेंट कर रहा हो. मुझे लग रहा है कि बहुत लोग इंतज़ार कर रहे हैं. But this is going to be my labor and my delivery story. और मैं कोशिश करूँगी कि मैं अपने बालों को ज़्यादा हाथ ना लगाऊँ, मगर अगर मैं लगाऊँ तो प्लीज़ माफ़ कीजिएगा and don't come at me attacking me in the comments. Thank you. I did not go into labor naturally. मैं 39 plus 6 weeks पे थी. So my doctor scheduled me in to induce my labor. तीन तरह से चीज़ हो सकती हैं. या तो आपका planned C-section हो या फिर आपका emergency C-section हो. C-section तो बिल्कुल एक अलग चीज़ है in this case because I did not have a C-section. I had a normal delivery. But I did not go into labor naturally. तो and at that point I was kind of like बस अब बहुत हो गया, बेबी को बाहर आना चाहिए. After doing a little bit of research I did notice कि when people are a little bit on the shorter side तो उनके लिए vaginal delivery करना थोड़ा सा मुश्किल होता है and sometimes emergency C-section होता है. तो इस केस में I really did not want to get a C-section because मैंने सुना है कि काफ़ी टाइम लगता है उसकी रिकवरी में and I like after pregnancy I just wanted to be on my feet फ़ौरन से. like I did not want to think about कि मैं और bed rest पे होंगी क्योंकि stitches होंगे. At 39 plus 6 weeks we went in for our induction और I went to Medicare hospital where my gynecologist sits. Her name is Dr. Shabeen Naz and she is my relative, so that is why we decided to go to her because obviously she's a relative and you know easy हो जाता है. में हम गए थे, I think it was 11:30. So she said come in at 11:30 p.m. at night on Friday, which was the 23rd. And उस time पे they're gonna examine me internally and they're gonna see कि you know if I go into labor naturally, great. If not, then सुबह 7 बजे I will be induced. So I went in. And they checked me. I was 2 centimeters dilated, which is great. And then they put क्या कहते हैं catheter मेरे यहाँ लगा दिया, which was very painful. Like I hate having needles inserted. मतलब जब मेरा CBC भी होता था ना and they would take the blood out of me, I would just be like नहीं देख रही, आप बस ले ले. I just can't look. I hate it. It's not that I have a phobia of blood. It's just that I don't like needles being inserted in veins. और ये काफ़ी बचपन से मुझे ये phobia है, so that's why I hated the catheter. Then I was sent to the room and at 5 a.m. I was called in again. And this time they induced me. I was induced with a Foley's catheter and oh my god, that was painful. I am not going to lie, it was painful. Basically it's like this ball sort of a thing which they insert inside of you and then when it goes up it like swells up, so that kick starts the labor process. And uske baad I started shivering, like my body started shivering uncontrollably and I was just like oh my god, if this is what normal delivery is going to feel like I don't know if I can do this. मुझे सबने कहा था कि the vaginal delivery is very painful and it's the worst pain that they've experienced ever. Like I know that for a fact. It's like the worst pain ever. But going in I was just like I know it's gonna be really really bad, but I had no idea कि वो pain क्या है. It's like going in to give an exam that you have not prepared for. Anyway, so once they induced me and once I started shaking, I was just like C-section कर लेते हैं. But I stuck in there. They took me to the wards. Basically Medicare में they have like, they don't have a private room where you go through your labor pain. You basically are in a ward where like 2-3 लोग और भी होते हैं. So there were other girls and actually I did not mind that because वहाँ पे एक attending doctor थी, वहाँ पे और लड़कियाँ भी थी who were in labor as well. So I was like oh my god, I'm not alone and there are other people also screaming in pain, so I'm not the only one who is in pain right now. So that was kind of like motivation कि ठीक है, I'm not alone. But also I was sad कि Numan was not with me when I was going in labor because I wanted him to see how much pain I was in. But I'm sure he had an idea. So once they induced me, it was 7 a.m. Things progressed really fast उसके बाद. Basically 7 a.m. पे I was induced 2 centimeters पहले से थी, and then like 8 a.m. पे I was 4 centimeters, so like 2 centimeters dilation हो चुकी थी. So yeah, so they took the catheter out of me and they're like आपकी labor has started. So I want to say कि from 2 centimeters all the way up to 6 centimeters it was fine. Like the pain was there, but it was fine. It was awful, like a pain that I can't even describe. It's like period pain जब आपको cramps होते हैं, but like multiplied by 1,000. And I was like, fine, if this is going to be what it is, I think बर्दाश्त हो सकता है. I kept walking, and but things kind of escalated when they gave me this antibiotic. I'm not sure what they gave me, and that basically speeds things up. I think that's मतलब मुझे तो यही feel हो रहा था कि शायद उसके बाद से शायद things starts like escalating very quickly, and I started throwing up. Like the pain intensified and I started throwing up like crazy. Like basically एक उल्टी फिर दूसरी उल्टी, and mind you इस time पे मैंने इतना कुछ खाया हुआ भी नहीं था. I was just drinking a little bit of water. I had like 1 sandwich and maybe like 1 piece of Kit Kat. Or I'm throwing, and I'm just constantly throwing up, and that is completely taking me off my game. मतलब उस वक्त pain की intensity जो कि पहले if I want to say was like an 8 out of 10, I feel like कि वो जो pain था that was a solid 9.5 out of 10, like 10 being the extreme pain you have ever felt in your entire life. Now I am not trying to scare anyone who is about to have a baby, but I'm just trying to be real here with you guys because it is pretty intense. उस point तक जितने भी लोग हमारे labor room में थे, like all the nurse staff and the doctor, they were all like, oh you're doing great Anushae, I think you're handling pain really really well. वहाँ पे 2 लड़कियाँ और थीं, उसमें से एक जो थी she had to go for an emergency C-section because उसकी dilation proper नहीं हो रही थी, and the other one was screaming, and she was around the same centimeters, like dilation उसकी same थी as mine. So everybody expected that I would give birth, I would be the first one to give birth, but then the other girl had a C-section, so she had to, obviously she gave birth before me. And then ये था कि maybe I'll probably go into like, you know, I'll deliver faster than the other girl. But जो दूसरी लड़की थी ना वो बहुत चीख रही थी. I was like, you know what, I'm pretty much feeling the same pain, but I don't know why she's screaming. And then when they gave me that antibiotic, because उसको भी उन्होंने वही दी थी, so she started, like basically that speeds up, I'm not sure what it does, it basically speeds up the process. And so she started, like she was screaming basically, and she was screaming for a solid 1 hour. So when they gave that to me, I was like, okay, now I understand why that girl was screaming. Poor soul, she was in so much pain. और जब मुझे like, but the thing with her was she was not throwing up. With me, when I started throwing up, मुझे इतनी dehydration हो गई कि I just felt like I can't do this anymore. Like my body just started crashing. और होता ना कि आप में हिम्मत नहीं है, मुझे लगा था कि मेरी हिम्मत ख़त्म हो रही है. So I called a nurse. I was like, you need to call my mom because I want to get an epidural. उस वक्त my gynecologist was also there. She had come in and she had inspected me, and she was like, you're very close to 7 centimeters. And you know what, I think you're gonna deliver your baby in like within an hour and a half or something. और उस वक्त I think 4 बज रहे थे शायद शाम के. तो I was probably in labor from like 7 a.m. till 4 p.m. So that's like a good amount of hours, you can count that. तो जैसे ही 7 centimeters में touch करने वाली थी and I was throwing up, I was like, I can't do this anymore, I need an epidural. और जैसे ही मेरी डॉक्टर ने मुझे चेक किया, I requested an epidural. I was like, I don't care how long my labor is, I want an epidural. अच्छा, so epidural is a pain relief that you can take while you are in labor, and this is something you can take from the very start, या फिर आप बीच में भी ले सकते हैं. It's sort of a pain management thing जो कि आप अपने डॉक्टर से डिस्कस कर सकते हैं, अपनी फैमिली में डिस्कस कर सकते हैं, अपने हस्बैंड से डिस्कस कर सकते हैं. फैमिली में तो नहीं, I think the best person that you can discuss it with is your husband and your parents, obviously. एंड मैंने और नुमान ने काफ़ी रिसर्च की थी एपिड्यूरल पे बिफोर हैविंग द बेबी, एंड वी हैड डिसाइडेड कि वी नॉट गोना टेक द एपिड्यूरल, but if the pain intensifies a lot, then in the middle we might go for it. So we already had that plan कि अगर if it gets too much, then I'll go for the epidural. अच्छा, so in Medicare they don't give you like the gas thing. Like I'm not sure if they do give you the gas thing, but they didn't, like nobody there was having like the gas. Basically a lot of my friends who've given birth in Aga Khan said that they gas जो होती है, so you suck on the gas, तो उससे आपको काफ़ी pain relief होता है. But it's not like epidural की तरह का pain relief, but it is pain relief. So if that is something that you want to look into, you can search that. It's quite common. बाहर तो काफ़ी hospitals में होती है. So if you're an international viewer, you know what I'm talking about. But उन लड़कियों के लिए जो पाकिस्तान में delivery और labor करेंगे, तो you can search and see your options के pain management में क्या क्या चीज़ें. You can have gas, you can have an epidural. My gynecologist was like, if you have an epidural, then आपकी जो labor है वो extend हो जाएगी at least 2-3 घंटे से. What an epidural does is it's an injection that is inserted in your spine, और वो आपको waist down जो है वो numb कर देता है. So basically the contractions जो आपको होती हैं, that's in your uterus, वो uterus की contractions होती हैं, तो वो contractions भी जो होती हैं ना, वो आपको feel नहीं होता. So when I went into the labor and delivery room, he gave me the injection in my spine. He basically told me to sit up straight. He gave me a pillow to hold on to. और उस time पे मुझे कोई इतने crazy contractions आ रहे थे ना, like the pain was so intense that I think I was crying. I'm not like, I don't even remember कि because my eyes were closed. मैंने lenses नहीं लगाए हुए थे, चश्मा मेरा पता नहीं कहाँ था. So I was half blind because my eyesight is like -4.75, so I was half blind, and I was just sitting in my gown, और पीछे से वो मुझे, and like you know, he was putting the epidural in my spine. So basically he said कि आपको थोड़ा सा शायद दर्द होगा because काफ़ी बड़ी नीडल होती है इसकी, but मुझे उस टाइम पे contractions हो रहे थे, and उस contraction का pain इतना था कि I did not even feel the epidural का injection go inside my back. Like I did not feel it because the labor pain was so intense. And उस point पे I was kind of like a 6.5. So basically 6.5 to 7 का जो मेरा dilation था ना, that took a very long time. Once I took the epidural, I was in so much relief. मतलब so much relief. मुझे लग रहा था कि जैसे जान वापस आ रही है मेरी बॉडी में. I started replenishing myself. मैं पानी पी रही थी. My mother-in-law was with me in the labor room. My mom was with me in the labor room, and they kept giving me water. And like things were finally getting better. I finally had a juice so that I was no longer dehydrated. But obviously आप इतना नहीं खा सकते because फिर भी डर होता है कि maybe you might throw up again. So I was just like trying to replenish my body. And waist down, I could feel कि contraction आई, like I could feel the movement of the contraction, but I couldn't feel the pain. अच्छा, इतनी intensity का नहीं था. Basically जो उसने intensity रखी थी epidural की, वो बहुत high नहीं रखी थी, so I could still feel the contractions. But ऐसा था कि I could feel कि my legs में अब जो है वो उतनी जान नहीं है, and I was kind of stiff. I could still lift my leg, but वो ऐसा था कि अगर if I let my leg go कि वो यूं ही गिरेगी. But I could still feel my leg, like I could move my feet. And honestly, it felt a little strange जब आपकी body नीचे से waist down थोड़ी numb होती है, and आपका mind जो है वो control नहीं कर पा रहा होता है आपकी legs को, तो वो मुझे थोड़ा सा strange feel हुआ था, and it gave me a little bit of like, it made me a little anxious as well कि oh my god, I can't feel my legs. But then आपको अपने आप को थोड़ा सा calm down करना होता है कि you know why you can't feel your legs, it's because of the epidural, and if you want to feel your legs again, you will also be able to feel the labor pain again. So my doctor was right, my labor did extend 2-3 घंटे से. So basically उस वक्त 4:30 हो रहे थे, and I delivered at 8:50. So my labor was prolonged for 4.5 hours because I took the epidural. But I think taking the epidural was the best decision because I honestly, the pain was a lot manageable towards 9 to 10 centimeters. फिर उन्होंने again they gave me an injection through my vein, which again was so freaking painful, and that kind of sped up the whole process. So like when I was 9 centimeters, they wanted कि थोड़ा सा speed up हो जाए process, and like when they gave me an injection, I could, like, that was painful. Like I could feel the contractions again, and I could feel the pain. So when I was finally 10 centimeters dilated, that's when things just were a blur. Like honestly, अगर मैं सोचूं ना, तो मतलब 1 से लेके 9 सेंटीमीटर्स एक जगह और 10 सेंटीमीटर्स के बाद डिलीवरी पूरी एक जगह. So another thing that my gynecologist told me was that if you do take an epidural, it would be difficult for you to push because आपकी जो वहाँ की मतलब pushing capability है वो थोड़ी सी compromise होती है because you don't have the strength or the control to push that part of your body. So it was a little difficult for me to push. तो वो कहते थे जब आपको contraction feel हो that's when you push. So मैं push करती थी but my pushing would break because I would get exhausted and I think they gave me oxygen in the middle as well because I was so dehydrated and I was like panting. मुझे oxygen थोड़ी like my oxygen levels had gone down so they gave me a little bit of oxygen and then I just kept pushing and I think I pushed for maybe 45 minutes to an hour and my god I was so freaking exhausted. I think I threw up on some of the nurses जो कि मेरे बराबर में खड़ी हुई थी and honestly I don't even remember. Like बहुत सारे लोग मेरे हाथ भी पकड़े हुए थे. Like there were a lot of nurses who were like praying for me. The staff by the way was great at Medicare. Everybody was very very helpful, very supportive and they were like all दुआएं पढ़ रहे थे मेरे ऊपर and like my god it was such a blur कि I don't remember but I just kept pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing but and then they told me कि crowning and the babies we can see the head of the baby, we can see his hair, just keep pushing and I think एक point में इतनी थक गई थी I was just like I don't think I can do this anymore. Is C-section still an option? So my gynecologist like no it's not an option, you gotta keep pushing and एक point पे she even said कि what are you doing, I think the baby is going back inside. I was like no that's like the worst thing you can hear, like it's going back inside. Like no, I've pushed so much, I don't want the baby to go back since he needs to come out. And then I think when I heard that I gave one final push and then my doctor also used a vacuum to get the baby out because honestly like I was exhausted pushing and I was throwing up again. I did end up getting an episiotomy, which is when they use a forceps or a vacuum to get the baby out. And वो होता ये है कि आपकी anus के पास they have to cut a little deeper so that they can get the baby out if it's not coming out naturally. तो उसमें कुछ stitches आते हैं. So I did get some vaginal stitches which are normal. Vaginal tearing होती है and वो इतने मसले भी नहीं होते, they heal pretty quickly. But the episiotomy जो है that is a stitch that takes a while to heal. So once the baby came out it just felt like कि I've just done the biggest poo of my entire life and it felt so good. Like जब आपको होता ना कि आपको बहुत दिनों से constipation है and एकदम से you go to the bathroom and everything comes out and you feel so freaking good कि like you're on top of the world, that's what I felt. It felt like a huge relief. So when the baby came out you expect कि when you see in the movies कि वो फौरन से रोएगा और ये होगा. So when Alyan came out, they kept him, but उसकी back जो थी वो मेरी तरफ थी, so I couldn't see him. So everybody was looking at him, and he was not crying. I was like, oh my god, is everything fine? And then everybody was like, ये बस घूरियाँ करा रहा है, सिर्फ देख रहा है. And he was literally just staring at everybody. So and then like within like a minute he started crying. And then I was like, oh finally. अच्छा मुझ में इतनी हिम्मत नहीं थी कि मैं उसको उठा के अपनी तरफ कर सकूँ. So the nurse sort of उसको मेरी तरफ किया and then I saw the baby and like the first thing that I noticed about Alyan was that his eyes were like this. He was literally staring and that was like scary. I was like, oh my god, the baby is staring at me. So that was like I will never forget that experience. But I remember I was so exhausted. That matlab I just did not have the energy in me to bring him close to me. So like the nurses kept him a little close. They took a little like few pictures with me and then they took the baby out. They showed him to my mom, my mother-in-law, my Numan, my dad was there. And then they like my doctor started stitching me up and honestly मुझे stitches जब वो stitch करी थी I didn't even feel them. I feel कि because maybe the epidural जो था वो उसकी वजह से मैं वैसी नम थी and then like I think once you deliver the baby and the placenta is delivered you honestly don't feel any pain. Like I think my pain tolerance has gone up so much after giving birth because जो वो pain होता है ना like it's unimaginable, and I can't even explain it. The beauty of that pain is that you don't remember what it feels like afterwards. Like once the baby's out, the pain is gone. Like it's not a lasting pain. I did hear a lot of people say कि epidural के बाद आपको back ache होता है. Honestly, I haven't experienced like lower back ache, but I would say कि I do have like ache in my shoulders, and that is because of nursing की वजह से भी काफ़ी back में ache होता है. So I'm pretty sure that is because of nursing and not because of the epidural. Yeah, so have I covered everything? Pretty much. I think yeah, that was my delivery. And when like once the baby was out, I was like sigh of relief. They stitched me up. They told me not to sit for 2 weeks. Basically I was supposed to either only lie down or stand or no sitting. So that was a challenge because obviously the stitches they took a while to heal, and my doctor said that they're gonna take 2 weeks to heal. The other stitches would probably heal, like the vaginal stitches would probably heal within a week, but the episiotomy would probably take 2 weeks to a month to heal. And that is true. It's been what, over 4 weeks? It's been 6 weeks now, and I can still feel that my episiotomy is healing. It's healed like I would say 70%. and जो मैंने research online की थी, people say कि पूरे 2 महीने लगते हैं full recovery में, but it is very manageable. I think 2 weeks के बाद I was able to sit. Within the 2 weeks when I was able to sit, I was using these 2 like creams that I was given, and I was also taking painkillers for this. Used an infrared light, which is a red light, जो कि मैंने अपनी stories में भी mention की है. I'm gonna insert a picture of it somewhere, you can see. Basically उस light को आप रखें और उस पर आप गर्म कपड़ा डालें और just spread your legs and let that light give you heat. It's an infrared light which heals muscle pain, and so because I had stitches, it literally healed my vaginal stitches within a week. और मेरी episiotomy का वो जो stitch था ना, it was healed within 2 weeks. So the stitch fell off. बाकी जो स्किन वापस आती है एंड इन्फेक्शन ना हो उसके लिए मैं क्रीम्स लगा रही थी, एंड आई थिंक काफ़ी बेहतर है. सो लाइक विद इन 2 months इंशाल्लाह इट विल ऑल बी ग्रेट. आई डू बिलीव कि इट वॉज अ लॉट बेटर देन अ सी सेक्शन, बिकॉज सी सेक्शन में योर बॉडी इंटरनली भी हील हो रही होती है, लाइक अगर बाहर के स्टिचेस हील हो गए, बट because you have it's proper surgery, your body organs have to heal internally as well. So उसमें आपको काफ़ी careful रहना होता है, and you can't like be up and about and walking and running. Obviously आप लोगों का experience different हो सकता है. If you've had a C-section and you've been on your feet like फौरन से, great. I'm like really happy for you, and you can share your experience in the comments for people who are going to be getting a C-section, ताकि उनको भी motivation मिले. So yeah, I think that was, I'm gonna conclude my labor and delivery story here. It was a life-changing experience, and I think for any woman who gets pregnant and gives birth, their first labor and delivery is a life-changing experience. And I'm sure second, third baby में भी life आपकी change बहुत होती है, but like the first one is the most intense. So yeah, that was the story. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you have any questions, नीचे comments में पूछें. If I missed anything, I will try to answer them in the comments below. And now I will soon see you in my next week's video.